Hey, welcome to the 5-Minute Quickie, the FMQ. And today's little FMQ is all about how uncomfortable self-development, personal development can be. So let's just get into it.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
You see, oh, by the way, welcome back. I've been learning about NLP, hypnosis, timeline therapy, lots of other stuff as well, lots of reading, and I've been doing it for donkey's years, all to try to make a difference. Initially, I guess, it was to make a difference to myself, and now to help make a difference with other people, but always starting with me. I'm sorry, I'm selfish that way. I want to develop myself. Yeah, I feel this thing, I don't know if you get this. When you learn more things like this, it seems to me that we have more issues, or we get to see or identify issues that we can change. It's a little bit like if you can imagine having a circle, and that's your comfort zone. Well, I call it a familiar zone, you know that, but it's our comfort zone. It's our limit, as it were, of experiences and the things that we know. And as we push that out, it can be a bit uncomfortable, but it grows exponentially, if that's the right way of saying it. And the more we push the boundaries of that comfort zone, that familiar zone, the more we learn and develop our own true self. You know, this thing about singing from our own true voice, finding our voice, finding our passions, finding our mission on this little old earth of ours, or the missions that go towards our ultimate vision. All these things, maybe woo-woo la-la. I don't think so. We all have an ultimate vision. Sometimes we just don't know what it is. We all have our passions. Sometimes we just don't understand that we're already living those passions. But the more we push, the more it's as if we identify areas of maybe weakness in ourselves. And to do that, or to get over that, we have to find new ways. And this is the wonderful thing about personal development. We're finding new ways. And when you know things like NLP, great processes, you have hypnosis to get into your unconscious mind and work with your unconscious mind, timeline therapy to let go of the negative emotions and limiting beliefs with ease and it's just effortless, and all the other stuff that we can really get into. We can just keep pushing these boundaries, and the more we push, the more we find. And that's I guess how we think, or I think, this is uncomfortable because I feel I'm really doing something, then something comes and blindsides me a little bit. Maybe I notice something on my emotions or something I hadn't let go of. But it tends to coincide, I guess, with the things that I'm learning as well. So as I learn a new process, or I learn something about how to let go of something, or identify or learn more about it, I tend to find the issue inside me. And I think, that's where these podcasts come in, because most of the things I talk about are in effect my issues or things I've learned. And it's my way of sharing. And no, I'm not going to do a quick 90-second sharing, but I might do. But the thing is, I don't know about you, but I think it's really sad sometimes to think that there are so many out there who don't realize it's possible to change, to learn how to change, to push that boundary, to, they call it enforcing the boundaries in NLP, enforce the boundaries further and further away to find new things. In effect, find your potential and then realize it's absolutely limitless. But I think it's so sad that there are so many people who don't realize that. I'll even talk to some of my friends and they'll say, "Oh, can you change that? Can hypnosis do that?" I go, you can change anything with the right will, the will to do whatever it takes. If you have that, I really believe you will find a way. You have to find a way. And when we ask those wonderful questions, what would it be like, look like if it was easy? Do you remember well, I'm not going to tell you this because I'm not quite sure which way these podcasts are coming out. There's another great question. I might have asked it already and told you about it, but it may be coming next time. Who knows? Oh, ponder. Let's ponder about that, Cluffy. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, if you do find this self-development, this improving yourself, having goals and dreams and going for them, maybe uncomfortable sometimes, that's okay. I wouldn't say it's meant to be that, but we just experience it that way because we're going into areas which we just don't know. And that can be uncomfortable. It's not painful, it can be uncomfortable. Letting go of old stuff doesn't have to be painful. It can be easy when you know the right way. And I think when we push these boundaries of our comfort zone, our familiar zone, really stretching ourselves, it's really exciting to know that the more you know, we realize there's so much more to learn. So even though we keep learning more, it just opens up the horizon to learning even more. Just realizing there's so much I don't know, which means there's so much to know. And if you take that and you do that thing about just improving what you do by 1% a day, 1% on every activity, 1% on your mental focus, Jesus, you're going to push those boundaries so far that you could never imagine what's beyond them, but you'll experience them. And then you'll get to imagine even bigger things, better things. Because it's a little bit like, I guess, the old metaphor about going to the gym. You don't just do it once, because that does hurt if you just do it once too hard. But you do it regularly, and you stretch, and that's a good feeling. It's not a pain. It can be uncomfortable, but it's a good feeling. And when you know that you've done it, you go, wow, I feel good, because it gets all those endorphins going and things like that. And that's what personal development does. When you start to get your goals, start thinking of even bigger and better things to do and achieve more. But the thing is, you do it regularly because it becomes a habit of success. And that's what I want for you. So when you start with 1% a day, suddenly it grows and grows. And that's when you look back. You look back to where you began. If I look back to where I began and what I didn't know then and what I'm capable of doing now with ease, it would have blown my mind back then to know what I can do now. And I know what I do now is not exceptional. And there's so much more I can learn. I'm looking at other people who are doing exceptional things. But I know they are just ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And that's going to be inspiring because they've pushed their boundaries and I can push mine even further. I can take that little bit of uncomfortableness, and I know you can too, because it's so much worth it. And you don't even know where your boundary is because you haven't got one really. Your potential is limitless. It just goes on and on because it's limitless. So I don't know. This is just my thoughts, I guess, about just being uncomfortable, because I don't want anybody to think about giving up. I want them to get more motivated. So sometimes when it gets uncomfortable, this is the time to move on even more. I can't remember when I spoke about this, but I spoke about it in one of the podcasts where I was taught that, sometimes we have this rapid increase in our learnings and then it seems to just settle down and it's like we're treading water, and that's when we sometimes give up. But that's a time when our mind is integrating all these new things so it can use it as a springboard for the next leap. So when it feels uncomfortable that way and a little bit confusing, this is the time when we go, great, we are going to learn something special that's going to create something even better in our lives. So look for that feeling of uncomfortableness, because that's where the juice is. Push yourselves. I'm going to push you as hard as I can, right to your limit, to find out that that wasn't a limit. I want to inspire you. I want to give you thoughts. A lot of the stuff I'm going to guess, not, as I said before, not every podcast is going to be a little gem for everyone. I'm sure there's gems in it for everyone, but may not be the big aha moment, but one will be. All you have to do is keep listening, and not just to this podcast, to so many other podcasts. Have people share podcasts to you so you can share this one to them. Share your gems. Show them by sharing your example, as it were, of what you're capable of, even though you don't know you're capable of even more. Get your imagination like Walt Disney. Imagine things that to everyone else are unimaginable, and then make them real. Why? Because you're you, and you can. And on that note, I want you to have more fun than you can stand and talking to your unconscious mind. So you can't listen now, but I want you, the unconscious mind, to surprise them. Surprise them for feeling happy for no reason. That'll knock their socks off. Anyway, have more fun than you can stand. Enjoy every heartbeat. That wasn't a helicopter. That was your heart. Okay. Bye-bye now. Thanks for listening, guys. That was really good. I really appreciate you being here. And I'd like to ask you a couple of questions, a couple of favors, really, in as much as I'd like you to share this podcast. Share it in a few ways. One is I'd like you to just share it with your friends. Share it with people that you know, anybody you think it may help, because that would be awesome. Spreading the word, spreading the community of this Personal Development Unplugged. Also, I'd like you to share your thoughts with me. Share your thoughts, your feedback, the things you enjoyed, the things you'd like me to do differently, the things you'd like me to explore even deeper, maybe more things like depression, loneliness, or happiness, or good stuff. They're all good. But if there's things you'd like to give me feedback on, that would be awesome. Just email me at feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. Anything and everything would be awesome. And if I use it, obviously, total anonymity. Anonymity? You'll be anonymous. Also, if you could just go to the platform that you listen to this podcast on and give a review, if you would. On iTunes, there's a capability of giving a 5-star review. That would be awesome. And just subscribe on any of those platforms so you get them on a Wednesday, get them on a Saturday, and you don't have to look for them. Get other people to subscribe. That would be great, because that helps push this around to other people too. And as you know, as always, I have a different set of programs on a website called paulcloughonline.com. Got lots of different stuff that, I know you have to pay for, but that's just a different thing. They're more involved, they're more detailed, and they're more structured. Just have a look at the website and the programs on offer. I think you'll find they're of interest. You've even got one which has its own 5-day free start, as it were. And sometimes you even just let go of your anxiety listening to those 5 days. Have a listen to that. And lastly, and not leastly, those hypnosis tracks. Just go along to that paulcloughonline.com/podcast, and you'll have access to all the hypnosis tracks that have been produced for this podcast. They're all there. They're all in order. They're all numbered, and they're downloadable. You don't have to search through 300 odd podcasts to find the hypnosis track you want. They're all there. And you might find something even that you didn't think of, and it's just right for you now. So do that. Have more fun than you can stand, and I'm going to be speaking to you real soon. But thank you for your time.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.